Hi, everyone. This is Lynn Davenport, Mary Lowe, and Holly Plemons with Families Engaged. We're doing another episode of TIC Ed. There's a lot going on at the legislature right now with this fourth special session underway, and they're meeting tomorrow to vote on House Bill 1, which is this Omnibus bill by Brad Buckley. And Brad Buckley was the one who brought us House Bill 1605, the Amplify Vendor Bill. So he's their golden boy right now. He's got he's written House Bill, well, someone wrote House Bill 1 for him, and that will be up for a vote tomorrow. So Mary, you want to start with that?
So, yes, I want to start with the expansion of the government here, that this is not just a bill for education, that this is a huge expansion of a government agency, and it's a huge expansion of the most failed government agency that we have, the Texas Education Agency. Just the number of times alone that it is mentioned that the commissioner shall and that the agency shall exceeds more than once per page. It's pretty staggering how often it is mentioned. And the thing that I feel that everyone should push back on is the commissioner is an appointed position, and it's all of the conservative parents want all of the social engineering out of education. And they want to be able to have local control, and they want the emphasis to return to pure academia, the core of academics. And when you have an appointed position by what now is controlled by the Republican Party, they are setting up an agency that they will hand 100% of control to whomever, whatever party is in charge. And that is irresponsible government at any level. In a constitutional republic, that is irresponsible government. So just based on that alone, this bill should be killed.
Okay. And I want to mention that you and I and Holly, we did a word search on this bill to see how many times the word commissioner came up, and commissioner shall. Commissioner was 191 times. So this is a shift of power away from the state board and the parents to the commissioner, the appointed commissioner. And yes. Commissioner shall is written 55 times. So keep going.
Well, and then the agency, and I don't have the numbers in front of me, so the agency shall, yeah.
Okay,
so
96,
now,
96
can you talk to us about, we fought really hard on the RPT priorities, and it is one of the priorities in many, many organizations over and over and over again, from silly people like Rick Green, major conservatives are coming out and saying, we have to do this because it's an RPT priority. However, I don't recall any of those people being at the convention and voting on this. And it was very, very clear. Parents did not want parent empowerment tied to a voucher, and they did not want any strings. It is very clear, no strings.
My door. Sorry. Keep talking.
Okay, so at any rate, in this bill, it absolutely does not coincide or support the legislative priorities set forth by the Republican Party. Holly, talk about the strings, what page the strings are on. And so one of those, now Lynn's back. Okay, so I just asked Holly to talk about that. So talk about some of the strings.
Okay.
Talk about some of the strings that are in this bill.
Okay, yes. We're talking about the strings tying to which part? Sorry.
Well, all of it. The
assessment part.
Yes, the assessment part, and how it will bleed into, if you take the money, if that private school takes the money, they are obligated. So talk about that.
Yeah, well, and keep in mind that assessment is written 69 times in the bill, and accountability 23 times. The very thing that we are trying to escape in the public schools is what they are bringing into the private schools. Once they take that money, they are no longer private. So those layers of accountability, which who doesn't want accountability? Of course we want accountability, but that's not what they mean by this. We're talking testing and assessments, and all of those are aligned to the Common Core standards. Those are aligned to the state standards. And so the private schools will no longer be able to teach whatever it is they want to teach, because they will be beholden to the accountability strings. And we know that the Governor Abbott he said at a public press conference that he did in South Dallas a year ago, he said there will be accountability measures, and we can't have a homeschool kid just sitting there watching TV. So when he says that, we have to believe him. Those are the strings that they're talking about. What else?
Okay, so and then the other thing that I think is super important for us to talk about is, what is this really? And James Tallarico is telling the truth. I mean, he doesn't align with us on the majority of issues. He takes a different stance on many things, but I believe he's the smartest man in the room relative to this particular bill, and asking the right questions and exposing what it really is. And he is not a conservative, yet he called it what it was. And not only did he call it what it was, but Holly called it what it was. And what is that, Holly?
Welfare for the wealthy.
And it does tell us how did you get to that place?
Well, this is a tax break for the rich. So whenever you're looking at the cost of private schools, they're anywhere from $25,000 to $30,000 where I live in Tarrant County. And the voucher, it's a coupon. If we're looking at HB1, that's $8,000. HB1 that we're talking about today is $10,500. That's a coupon. There is not somebody that's living in the projects or living in the inner city that's going to be able to afford that jump from what the coupon is to what the private tuition is. Now, let's say they find a private school that is going to be $10,500. What else are those families going to be giving up? They're going to be giving up free breakfast. They're going to give up free lunch, free school supplies. They're going to have to buy uniforms that are much more costly in private schools than they are in public schools. They're going to have to give up transportation. A lot of private schools do not have aftercare, so they would have to contract with a daycare to come pick their child up. There's a lot of things that they are giving up by going to a charter school or a private school that the public does offer that low-income families need. And it's just not going to do what they say it's going to do by saying this is for 90% of low-income special needs kids. Those kids are all going to try, and then they're going to find out there's no options for them, and they're going to go back to the public schools. Then those vouchers are going to go back in the pot, and they're going to be for the kids that are already in private school, or the kids that just need a small jump of upper middle class to get into those private schools. So they're lying and saying that this is going to help those low income children. This is a tax break for the rich.
So, okay, we're going to talk in our next video about preschool, which Holly just mentioned, because that's certainly in this bill. We have a call to action for you. And then finally, before the call to action, I want to say, TPPF, Texas Public Policy Foundation, is one of the major drivers for this. I have no idea how much money has been spent to rally support for this bill under the guise of parent empowerment, that a voucher is parent empowerment. That's also a lie. But I want you to know that we worked as an organization with TPPF and met with Jerome, and I'll let y'all Google and see who he is, but he certainly has integrity and a very significant role there. And he was talking about what they had passed in Arizona, and he agreed with us and said, yes, this is a tax break for the wealthy. So they secretly know what this is. Yeah. And then the other thing is they modeled this based on Arizona, and Arizona is already recanting and reversing their decision, saying that it did not do any of the things that it said. So please, call to action.
Call to action. We need you to call the governor. Tell him to quit bullying our legislators into more very expensive special sessions, and then call all of the House representatives and the senators, but specifically the House representatives for this one, and let them know that we went down to Houston for our convention and we asked for vouchers with no string, and a bill has not been produced yet that does not have strings.
Right. That's the thing. They've never produced a bill with no strings. Period.
They know how to, they just won't.
Right. And we
So-
know that the governor, the reason why is because the governor won't sign one without strings, because he is aligned to the World Economic Forum and the Great Reset, and this plays into that. And that's not conspiracy theory. We have evidence of that. He's flown to Davos twice. We know that that's what he's aligned with, rather than the people who actually got him in to the office.
And he's on their website. So it's not conspiracy theory. You can go on their website and you can see his little face sitting there.
All right, so everybody understand what's in the bill, understand what's behind all this, and use your voice and stop this. Thanks.
Right. Thanks.